Yo, what up?
Good sir.
What it do? What it do?
What's going on, big bro? How you been, man?
I'm good, fam. I'm trying to get you over through the. I'm in the whip right now. I'm trying to get you through speakers. Give me 1 second.
I got you, King. It's no pressure, man. Buddy, tuning in. I'm live with big bro Kenny King. Make sure you
So,
if you follow me, you're not following my bro, make sure you follow him. Follow everything my bro got going on, man. One of the best in the world at what he does. And I wanted to holler at big bro just to see first, man. How you been? What's going on, man? How's life, man, during the quarantine?
I'm quarantined up, man. You know what I'm saying? Just came. Just we're in phase two right now in Las Vegas. So, um, no, we're in phase two still because so basically that means that you can go to the gym, you can go to the water park, you can go to the casino, but you can't go to the bar. So, um, I don't even know what was really going on, but um, it's just crazy because I got a chance to. We got two kids, so we got a chance to send our kids away for the summertime. We thought it was going to be big summer. It was going to be a real grown, and nah, man, we're just chilling, just chilling. So, you know, just been doing this for Groundhog Day. Literally, me and my lady been talking about this, every day. Like, well, what you want to do today? Nothing, because we done did everything. Uh, Groundhog Day every day.
Bless, King. Well, first of all, man, I'm glad everybody's healthy. You know what I mean? Everybody's good on that end. You know what I mean? I know it could be some scary times with everything happening, but we've become, see, when you like us, entertainers like us, and hustlers like us, it's like, all right, we'll adapt, we'll find a way. You know what I mean? And we always been like that. It's like, well, the check's still coming in, so I'm all right. You know what I mean? Like, and you find a way to survive and to stay pushing through everything. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like uh, I don't know when we're going back to work, but we are going back to work at some point. And I get to watch, my friends throughout the industry go back and kind of do their thing. So I'm just ready, and all I can really do is just kind of get my mind ready, train mentally and physically. Um, but like you said, thank God, thank God, thank God, that for that contract and that things of shout out to Ring of Honor, shout out to Sinclair Broadcasting because they have done above and beyond, I think, what anybody expected anybody to do during this unprecedented time. So they've made sure that myself, my family, and everybody's family on the rosters have really been, that everybody's been good, and I respect them for what they've been doing, and I'm ready to go back and show out and do the best that I can. Just kind of pay that. I don't know if it's paying it backward or paying it forward, but just to kind of show that I appreciate it.
Bless, King. Bless on that, man. So let's get into the matter at hand, man. Let's not keep the people waiting, man. So and when you in your car or you at the crib, quarantine, who's some of the people you playing? Who's in the speakers? Who's Kenny King liking as rappers? And do you like any of the new guys nowadays? Tell me who you bumping.
The baby, that's it.
All right, so let's go to the last question first because my lady and I were just talking about this. I don't know whether I'm just old or whether I'm just trained to a certain kind of music. But I'd really be trying to give these new rappers a shot, and I just can't. The only one, I mean, I like Lil Baby, right? There was.
Me too. Me
I like
too.
Lil
Me
Baby.
too.
Once I got past, because I wasn't sure who Lil Baby, all these other babies were. And I like Lil Baby, and I actually like Da Baby too, because the young cats, that's got some substance, man. That knows how to put words together. That's just not rapping, kindergarten rap. I can get down with. But as far as everything else, man, I'm back. I stay between like 1997, 2008. That's where most of my music comes from. If Crooked Eye puts something out, or Big Sean or these guys, somebody who I'm really dig down with put something out, I'm gonna go check for the project. But J. Cole is. I think J. Cole's a given. Um,
Right.
but a lot of these young guys, man, I just can't. I can't. I
So
tried.
what do you feel is the what do you feel that okay, here's the thing, right? Because I'm 32. So I'm at that age now where it's kind of hitting me where I'm like, well, damn, I can't relate to what these 20-year-olds are talking about now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's a difference in, like, I was talking to a couple of my homies, right? A couple of my guys, my barbershop debates, and we argue about rap for 7 hours. But it's like I'm at that age where it's like I'm kind of not supposed to understand it, but not be bitter towards it either. You know what I mean? Like, because I know when I was 21, 22, or when I was even 17, 18, and 50 Cent was all over the airwaves, people 10 years my senior, if they wasn't for the streets, they didn't get it. You know what I mean? They didn't get the 50 Cent and the Diplomats and Exhibit and all these guys. They was like, nah, man, what's this? You know, you need to be bumping this. And they were still playing the Rakims and LL Cool J's. So it's that balance of saying, you know what, I'm not hating on it, but it's not really my style. But then again, you have some of these guys that's just trash too, though. They garbage.
It's terrible, right? I mean, because I didn't want to be that guy. I didn't want to be the guy that just, okay, man, I am. So I went through a lot of this stuff, man. I went through my Migos phase. I went through when I was listening to, I mean, who else? Some of these dudes. Like I tried to listen to Blueface. You know, I try to. Okay, I'm gonna listen to another song other than what's on the radio, so I can just try. And I can't connect. There's something. There's a whole there's a whole thing there that just can't. I can't connect with it. So like you said, I try. I'm not gonna be the guy who hates on it. I'm not gonna listen to it. I'm not gonna, you know, if there's a concert with it, I ain't going. But you know, I support your right to like whatever because ultimately it's all connected in some kind of way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is the thing too, like, this is what people have to understand. It's like no matter whether you're 30, 40, 50, whatever the situation is, we still hip hop. You know what I mean? We still hip hop. Just because it's not, you know, what it might not be what the baby little baby's doing. Hey, I could be that 30 to 50-year-old range of hip hop. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then
right.
you got the 50s and older hip hop, where we're finally getting into that age now where hip hop is where we're seeing our legends age a little bit.
Right,
so
right.
Also too, shout out to Crooked Eye, one of the most underrated lyricists of all time. Easily.
All time.
All time. Easily. Here's a question I have for you. How do you feel about like the versus stuff going on? Who's a versus matchup that you want to see on IG Live? This person's 20 best songs, this person's 20 best songs in a competitive hit for hit battle.
Fam, when I tell you that I was sick to my stomach that I missed Fab and Jadakiss, I wanted to throw up. I couldn't believe because that's like, oh yeah, no, that's it, right? And I was so disgusted with myself for missing that. So let's see, versus 20 for 20. You know, I've been seeing this what's the latest one that's floating around? DMX and Snoop. And
that's tomorrow.
That's a strong one. I don't know. I can't call that one because I'm a big DMX fan. Big DMX fan. You know, up until like, and then there was X, and then nobody really liked DMX no more. But from you know, dark and it's dark and hell is hot to, and then there was X. We got 20 bangers for sure. Not to mention off Locks albums, off of DJ Clue stuff, and you know, Snoop is Snoop. So I can't call that one. But who could I put? Who would I put? 20 for 20. I would like to see. I'd like to see and to for King of the South, right? And this is because I spent a lot of time in Florida and there's something about that South man. I need to see T.I. and Jeezy go at it. I think T.I. and Jeezy. I think T.I. gets that just because T.I. is a little bit more well-rounded, but man, Oh, big time. Yeah, that's my man. Jizzle's my
Bro,
man, bro.
bro, I was telling Swerve, I said, Swerve, bro, you are missing out on not getting on the Jeezy wave. Because Jeezy, look, bro, look. I done lived half the life Jeezy lived, not half of it. But let me tell you something. When you hear that, I'm a GTRAPSTR, and like just in the beats, bro.
The
The beats
horn.
was so hard.
What?
Every time I do it for my hood. Come
Oh,
on, bro.
man.
Come
Come
on,
on, bro.
bro.
Come on, bro. No
Like so,
punchlines, no riddles. I'm talking white squares with the stamps in the middle.
change the
Yeah.
middle.
Yeah,
No,
man.
Jeezy had some serious stuff, man. Tip, I want to see. I want to see. I felt like this. I feel like the one person that would have some underrated, serious smoke for Jay-Z with his catalog is like a Snoop, or like a Snoop and LL. LL low key wash a lot of cats, bro.
Yeah, for sure. LL's
Yeah,
first three albums can murder, and then if you want to go into LL's resurgence in the '90s, um, LL could wash a lot of dudes, big time.
yeah. LL could wash a lot of cats. Low key, Luda would be hard to beat. Luda would be hard to beat. Who else? There's a lot of guys like that is extremely hard to beat. But let me ask you this: so you're an artist yourself. Obviously, we've collaborated on music. If you guys haven't gotten Mob Ties with me and my big brother, go on all digital platforms and watch us go bar for bar and kill that record. Mob Ties on all digital markets right now.
We went hard.
Your your writing process. Tell us a little bit about your writing process. Do you write often now? How do you feel? How do you get in the zone to write some music?
Man, I like, for me, it kind of comes and goes, man. And right now, I'm in a space where I'm like, okay, because for me, it's like I have a lot of ideas and a lot of lines and bars, but I can't. I'm such a perfectionist when it comes to even writing, right? So like, if I can't put it down the way that I like it, then I'm just deleting it and I'll just go away from it. So there's periods of times where everything works and I can sit down and say, all right, I'm in a 3 week period now where I'm like, all right, I like this. I'm writing this. I'm writing this. I'm sit down and write. And then other times when I got nothing, and it's unbelievable how my brain works, where I can sit down with a beat that I like, uh, and have nothing to really put down. So for me, it's when I'm really in the groove, man. I just sit down with a beat. I sit down, with my. I don't. There's no such thing as a pen and a paper no more. You sit down with your phone, and I just
Facts.
I just try to put bars together, when I'm in that space. Uh, I write uh, to where when I go back and listen to it or go back and read it, I won't go back and say, "Damn, I would rewind that." And I think that's where the artistry is lost, man, because a lot of people just will say, okay, I got two hot bars in this song. I got a hot hook, and I think that's where the artistry is lost. People got to remember this is, you had to be sick with your pen and your pad back in the day, and you know, maybe it'll come back to that. I hope that it does.
You make a very, very great point there, and I want to definitely make this point is that I grew up in the last. I was like one of the last of the old school times where you had to music producers would get you in the studio and you would have to write songs and work on your pen, work on your bars, get in the ciphers with 4 or 5 guys, and maybe 2 or 3 of them are way better than you, and you just had to work and work and work, and some of these guys will smoke you, and you would just get better and better and better until you was leading the ciphers, and they were waiting. The people were waiting to hear what you had to say, and work on your pen and continue to write, continue to focus, continue to work on your pen, work on your craft. I came from the toolage where a rapper should be able to rap on any kind of beat, no matter what. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Like, even if you don't agree with the subject matter, you're not on the song, you should at least be able to have a flow and a cadence for that beat, even if you don't get on it. So that is like, I feel like I'm one of the last schooling, like the early 30s, because nowadays it's not really like that. It took me a long time when guys were like, "Oh, I don't freestyle. I don't like.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
not going to hot."
How?
I'm like, what? I'm like, it took me a long time, Kenny, to like process this. I'm like, well, this is really a new time, because there was times, bro. I know you know this. There was times where you hanging around other rappers, you had to have at least 2 or 3 verses on deck in your mind, memorized, just in case it went down. Just in case.
Because it was going down. Not because just in case. Because it was going down. Right.
And you had to have a couple, and then you had a couple reserve tank verses that maybe some of the homies heard or you used in a cipher before, but they didn't hear it. So you can go back in the tuck and bring that out. You know what I mean?
Depending who was in the cipher, right? Because you got to look around and say, okay, what have they heard? What have they heard? I can't bring this out.
But I got
back in the day, you just had to sometimes just out and out flow. Sometimes you just had to straight up off the top of the dome. I mean, I see this on TikTok, right? And I laughed to myself, like, man, I was doing this in high school where somebody's, you rapping and somebody's shooting out words or points to something, and then you got to, okay, there's a box, and there's a delivery, there's a mailbox, there's a trash can. You got to put this in your rhymes, and that's how you would test your friends. That's how you and your homeboys got better, is because you got to be having too many verses. That was you didn't want to have too many verses. You wanted to be able to be the one who could burn you off the top.
Bingo. And that's the thing. See, when I first started, it was like when you get older, and a lot of times you exercise the same muscle a lot of the times, writing, and it's a muscle that you have to regenerate. And even though it's almost becomes automatic, it's like the way I started was me and my homies will put a beat on, and we just have to straight up just go off the head. Literally, every beat we get them. We go on LimeWire, download the Dat Piff beats. You know what I mean? 15 free beats.
Yeah.
You are now watching a master at work. You know what I mean? And the beat will come on, and you have your stereo, and you guys would just have to go each person and perfect your skill. And then when you guys was passing the ciphers and everybody was on point, everybody knew they was getting better. That's how I learned, Kenny. I just had to go. I had to flow. I had no tuck verses.
That was it.
The only time I ever did that was maybe for the first time, maybe a year ago. And it felt weird doing it. It felt weird.
You got to have a flamer, right? You gotta have your flamer. If there's a cipher around, you don't know nobody, you have your flamer, but it always should come down to just off the top, and that's to me that was it. When I first started, man, it was beating on trash cans in between classes, and we got to beat on these trash cans because Mr. Russ, the dean at our, we got to go to this hallway because he lurking over here, and back when that was in my sophomore year, 10th grade, and then when we got cars, then we could actually get beats. But you know what I mean? Like, it was forever, and you got to be able to flow off of whoever somebody's beating off, and that was,
bingo.
You know what I mean? That was how we all got good. That's when I started, because I freestyled for a long time. I didn't write. I didn't have the confidence to write. I would just go off the top of my dome, and when I started being like, damn, okay, all right, I kind of like how this goes. That's when I started writing verses down, and man, it used to take me a week to write a verse because I wasn't coming with heat every line, man. As I got older, I had to say, hey, man, you gotta have some transitions in there. Everything can't be a knockout punch. But that's how I started. Everything had to be. I'm trying to set you on fire with every bar.
Now, you can always talk to fellow songwriters because. And songwriter talk, it took me a long time to understand that, the transition part, right? Because when you're writing a song, naturally most of your verses transition. And you have at least in your 16 bars, there's probably like 6 of them that are like, oh my God. And then some of them you have to transition to build up to that those 4 or 5 sharp lines that you have. But it's all about the build up. And when you're freestyling, it's always about you're just trying to top every line. And I think that's the thing, right? About making music is that when I had to start writing music, like formulating songs, I had to take 2 years off rapping, bro, because I could not write a song to save my life. I could freestyle, but I could not write a formulated record to save my life because I didn't know how. I had no structure on how to do it.
And then write a hook. What was that? Get that shit out of here. Right? What's a hook?
Like what's the hook? What's a hook? We going 32 bars a piece. No, bro. For the radio, you need 8 bars. And then when the industry changed, guys are only doing 8-bar verses now. 8 bars?
Right. What can you say? How can you get off in 8 bars? But they're not. They're not. That's the thing, right? All you have to do is confuse them to where they kind of thought they might have heard some of these. Oh, what did he say? I think it was tight. Okay, the beat tight, so forget about it. So, and that's hip hop now, right?
Absolutely. It is funny because I was talking to my homie. He's like, well, the traditional format now is 2 minutes. It's 2 minutes, two 12-bar verses. And 2 hooks. So I'm like, that song is short. He's like, yeah, that's all. And then the album is only 10 songs. So it's like a 30-minute album. Like, what?
Right. And my lady was just brought up a good point. Now, with the way things are, all you really need is a good hook for TikTok, a minute hook that can burn over and over and over and over and over, and then you're in.
I don't. You know, Kenny. It took me a long time to get adjusted to this, and still a part of me is like, okay. It's sometimes some of them records come on, it's like, yo, bro, we're gonna have to hit them with the old school 3-verse track, bro. There's gonna be no way that I'm sorry, this is not going for. I'm not. Certain songs you can adjust for radio play and all that, but I thoroughly agree with. I thoroughly feel this way. No matter how you format the music, if it's hot, they're gonna get it. You know what I mean?
True.
And I believe that, you know, once you start conforming, you can still be in current on what the industry's doing. But once you start conforming your whole style to what the internet's doing or what the industry's doing, you start to lose a part of yourself. And like for me, it hurts a lot of artists because they start to overthink it. They start to overthink their craft.
Right.
That's why a lot of people you start hearing the decline in their music. Let me ask you this. What hurts artists after a period of time? Let's say they have 2 or 3 good albums, like you said with DMX, and then there was X. After a while, when they're on album number 4, album number 5, 6, what ends up hurting them to where the quality isn't as good? Do you think they've said all they've had to say? Do you think it's too much output? Do you think they need to take a break? Why do you think a lot of artists don't have the longevity that they used to have?
I think that with the exception of a few, Hove, maybe Nas, I think that too much success without growth is what leaves you with nothing to write about, right?
That's a nugget right there.
Right, if you came up and everybody writes about the struggle, how I came up, I had to do this, I had to do that, and now all of a sudden you got the shit. And so now your second album is about I'm still kind of hungry and I'm still trying to navigate my way through. Now I got a little bit of money. I got the cars. But now that third and fourth album, if you're not growing as a person, if you're not growing as an artist, if you're not, now how do I rap about Basquiat's? You know what I'm saying? Now how do I rap about it's a different level that when Hove really stepped up to that level of I'm on my grown man shit. And we're talking about credit limits and things like that versus 28s on the whip and all that shit. That's where people can't, in my opinion, they can't keep up because man, we already heard you talking about $100,000 whips and this and that. That's why we bought your first album. But if you can't grow and you can't give me that same whip, listen, I think the person who's grown without growing, in my opinion, and still one of the greatest rappers is Pusha. right? Because I don't really want to hear Push rap about too much but coke rap, right? And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with keeping Push where he's at because he's marvelous at it, and he's learned how to keep me stuck from Lord Willing to now. And a lot of dudes couldn't do that because they would triple over the same Pyrex rhymes and this and that. Pusha's a genius. He just knows how to talk to keep you wrapped around the same thing. But most of these guys, by their third album, I've heard it, and I can. You haven't taken me on the journey. I want to know where you at now. Tell me about what happened when when you got your $500,000 chain snatch and you had to do, like, I'd like to hear another Young Jock album, right? Because Jock is over here doing Uber, so I'd like to hear what the fuck going on with Young Jock, because Jock could low key rap. So that's the maturity I think that we're missing with. I mean, we're 30 and above hip hop, so we've already heard 10,000 songs about gun busting and gang banging and pie flipping and all this other shit. So now we're just trying to find a lane that will just keep us keep us in the culture.
We're in that weird transition where we're like, okay, we're still young enough to know what the young boys talking about, if they're making sense in what they're saying, but old enough to know that some of the stuff isn't our style anymore. We're in a weird transition in our 30s in hip hop because it's letting some stuff of the past go and growing, but and also being able to come up together and say, okay, what can I take out of what these young guys are doing and what these older guys are doing? But you brought up a good point, and I wanted to bring this up to you because you brought something up. I think a lot of problem too is a lot of guys end up chasing what they first had.
Mm-hmm.
They're not willing to grow. They're not willing to say, okay, what I had in my first album, Jay-Z is like, I cannot give you a Reasonable Doubt in 1996 no more. I can't give you that no more. I was 28 years old. I was in a different place in my life. I was just becoming a businessman. I'm a grown man. It was 28 years of my life in one album. The Blueprint or the Black Album or American Gangster. None of these albums are going to be the same. I'm in different spaces in my life, so you're going to grow. Jay-Z was like the first artist that we all grew up with, especially if you're in your 30s.
Right.
Jay-Z was like the first artist we saw climb. We saw it. We watched it. You know what I mean? We were in our late teens, so we got to see Jay-Z grow into the person that he is now. I think a guy like Pusha T is a great example because he's one of the anomalies of being able to talk about the same thing every album, but it's so fire that we just don't
matter.
You know what I mean?
It don't matter.
It doesn't matter. He's so dope that it doesn't matter. Now, that comes with a crutch because certain other artists will kill other artists for that, but it's just because we expect different from them. If you're Clips and you come from grinding and hot damn and popular demand and stuff, and then you go into the coke rap, we understand what we want that from you. But if you're coming with your struggle stories on your first album, and then by album number 4, you're just not growing. It's like, okay, bro, we know you're not struggling no more. So what is it? You know what I mean? What are you talking about on album number 4 that I can invest in? And I think a lot of people are afraid to grow up. I think rappers are afraid to grow up a lot of times, Kenny.
Facts, because it's a young man's game, right? And
right.
It's been proven that the older you get and the more sense you rap about, the harder it is to get radio play. The further away you get from bitches and hoes and cocaine and guns, the further you are going to get from that, those 100 spins an hour, because I mean, shit, the powers that be don't want to hear it. and they, it all comes down to the come down, right? Like, kids don't know what the hell they like until somebody plays it a million times. So there's literally no difference between a Lil Baby or a, I don't even, who's hot right now? Give me somebody who's hot. Who's hot and don't make a whole lot of sense, would you say?
Who's hot don't make a whole lot of sense?
The Roddy Ricch cat, right? I'm not feeling the right. I dig it. because he's making these catchy tunes. But okay, so let me break this down to you. And this is again me and my lady sitting there talking about this, and this is where I
Got you,
feel like
got you. Let's get into it.
this is where I'm at. And I don't know, and I don't know where to go with this, right? So this is with everything going on, obviously with the climate of our country, really the climate of our planet, right? And having to take some personal accountability with being a hip hop head and what we put out, right? And I'm just at the point where I'm listening to this music, and I'm starting to bristle at some of the content, the gun busting, the drug flipping, because if we're trying to make this paradigm shift, right? There was a shift that happened in the '60s where something happened and shit changed, and that's where we're at now. We're at this point where things are bubbling and people are awake and shit needs to change. And I'm going back and out, not even just now, but going back and listening to my favorite songs, the Locks, the Mobb Deeps, the Jiggers, all of this, and it's a lot of the same thing: gun busting, drugs, and what do we do? How do we, if we're trying to break these cycles, right, and we're trying to influence people more to think differently, all right, about young black men. Fuck it, let's just call it what it is, right? If we're trying to influence people to think differently about young black men, do we need to reassess the images that we consistently are putting out? And these are $1 million, $100 million images, right? These are things, this is shit that people are getting paid off of, but ultimately, is this to the detriment of our communities? Somebody got to say this shit, right? And this is something that I've been thinking about for quite some time. Even though I could rap, I didn't kill 10,000 people in hip hop songs. You know what I'm saying? And it's not it's one of those things that as you get older, I'll be 39 tomorrow. This type of shit you got to think about.
Well, first of all, happy birthday, my brother, and another bless. Wish you many more, man, for you, the family, and enjoy that, man. Enjoy your birthday, man. For every people forget, right? For every LL I Need Love, there was F the Police, right?
Yep.
For every Rakim song, there was Fight the Power. So there was always a yin and the yang to what was happening in hip hop. We always had a Public Enemy. We always had a Tribe Called Quest. We always had music out there that was speaking to us. We always had a Cypress Hill when they would get on their political bag. We always had music at the time that always spoke to the times of what was happening and what was going on. I think the problem is hip hop in some way, shape, or form. I would say maybe the mid 2000s to around that time, it kind of shifted, and there wasn't really the music that was speaking to us. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't really speaking towards the times. Nothing towards the times is being made. Everything was just about the guns and the shooting and the killing. But there was no conscious rap. And if there was a comment of Talib Kweli, it was not being promoted and it was being shunned down. And these guys were saying these things, but nobody was really giving it that shot. As in back in the day when, Straight Outta Compton and NWA was coming out, it was so hard hitting that it made such a great impact. And I believe also me as well, being 33 next year, I'm like, all right, man, there's certain things that just we have to change. You know what I mean? Certain things are going to, it has to change. And the thing is, Ian made a comment about the narrative. You're right, Ian, but this is the thing. Us as artists control the narrative. We control the narrative ourselves. We can, if everybody came on one accord and was making different kind of music, the narrative would change. They're gonna advertise and buy what we put out. So if we are all in one conglomerate of what's going on, I'm not saying you can't have your fun music, but look, we're in a quarantine right now. If anybody out there is making club music, there's no point of them rapping. Why are you doing it?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know what I mean?
But I agree, and I agree and I disagree, and I agree with you,
Okay.
because and I will always go back to the idea of little brother, right? Little Brother is one of the greatest hip hop groups of all time. I think
Period.
Fonte
Period.
top
Period.
3 of all time. So
Period.
in the time that Little Brother was putting out classics, I mean, what is this? We're talking about 2010 to 2015, maybe 2009 to 2015. There was a lot of shit. I mean, I think this is the first when we first started hearing Drake, and there was a lot of mindless shit. I'm sure I can't. If I went back, I could probably say, oh, this was popping, this was popping, this was popping. There's a lot of shit getting burned while Little Brother's putting out and Justice for All, putting out, you know what I mean, the Chitlin Circuit, putting out all of those things, and they're not being. It's not getting national airplay because the powers that be don't want you to hear Fonte telling you to get your, your house in order, get your family together, get your taxes paid. That's the narrative that's not being that they don't want to hear it, right? And they don't want. More importantly, they don't want you to hear it, right? So
Right. Good point. Good point. Good point.
so that's to me is I always think that there's 50-50 going because listen, who gets this shit played, right? Who really sat in a boardroom and said, "Yo, Laffy Taffy is that shit. Let's play Laffy Taffy right now," right? Or just some of these songs that come on and they enter your headspace and you're just like, this is terrible. How does get
I hated that era. I hated that era of rap.
there's a
God,
lot
the era
of
was
people
garbage.
sitting at a boardroom listening to this shit and saying, play this, not that, right? So it all it all does come from a narrative, and they like to keep it. They like to continue to perpetuate it.
You know, two more things I want to ask you. I want to ask you on this. First of all, thank you for coming live with me, bro, for this time just to talk rap for a minute with me. Your favorite song from the Menstrual Straw Little Brothers catalog on the Menstrual Show album. What's your favorite song on that album? Because me and my homies debate this all the time. On the Menstrual Show, what's your favorite song on the Menstrual Show? You got.
I mean, I'm gonna go. No, I know the minstrel. No, I know the minstrel show. I'm just trying to put the best.
I got you.
And the first one, I'm gonna go with my first one, and I think this is one of my favorite Fonte verses. But "Beautiful Morning" is such a good up, just a banging track, and Fonte's verse. Each day is another chance to do the things I could have done the day before and didn't, but known I should have. So I say a prayer for the gone for gooders who left this world and kiss my girl good morning, sugar. Woo! You know what I'm saying? It's such a dope song. And that was I'm always gonna go with my first choice. I like that. I liked what's the beat with my favorite beat? Oh my God, I'm just listening to this song. Uh, what's the number one single off the Minstrel Show? I think Joe Scott is on it.
Who's on it?
I think Joe Scott is on it.
Is that you got I know exactly what you're talking about, bro. I'm sorry. I know exactly what you're talking about. It was the first single they put out because I know it was he's singing, right?
Yes. Well, there was that's cheating. I thought he was cheating. No, that's an intro. It's got a fire ass beat. It's one of Ninth's better beats on that.
It wasn't no matter what I do. That one?
That's not enough. Is that on Mr. Show? Yeah, it is. No, that's not the one. Oh man, look at your phone real quick, man. Because now I'm going crazy. Man, it's.
And it's crazy. I know the album front to back, but it's like not like.
It's one of Ninth's better beats off that whole album.
I went from dropping the classic album of love was couldn't find.
Wait, what's that? What's that?
That's and he's hated.
Because there's that starts from the end. I think that starts from the end of Beautiful Morning.
Yes, it does.
No, that's not it. Hold on, gonna tell you right now. My favorite skit is Drill, answer the damn phone.
What a classic project, man. That album changed my life, dude. It changed my life.
Hiding place. That's it. Where you gonna
Oh, where you
hide?
going?
Yes. Yes.
Don't
Yes.
compare me to Joe. I
I
strangle the
strangle the
air
air
in
in
your
your
throat.
throat like you jump from a chair and choke from midair with a rope. Okay.
Over again. Outlandish. Blow your brains out and hard to hand. Blow your brains out. What do you say? I'm outlandish. Blow your brains out and leave out the handprints. Oh
Feds
my
won't. Feds
God,
can't
dude.
make out the handprints. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
This should have
That's.
been a double album commemorative disc because hip hop might need us
Yeah, man. Little brother is.
out doing their damn thing like Beavis. Amazing.
So
Amazing.
you have an album like that. You got dudes, a rapper like that, who doesn't get, who don't get the kudos that he should. Meanwhile, I mean, you think about a Chingy or a dude like that who at least will have his run, right? A Chingy had his run, or a little Hurricane Chris had his run. Shout out to Soldier Boy because he innovated, but Soldier Boy had his run. But Soldier Boy shouldn't even be able to stand in the same room as a Fonte. This is hip hop that change, like when you hear it, it'll change your life, So the machine it's not unlike wrestling.
Right, right. And it's funny because now that I'm involved with both and I'm involved in both, I now see the parallels. And it was funny because I always try to separate it. But the more that I'm like involved and I see both and I'm on both sides, yeah. I did like I remember talking to Shane Taylor's, Swerve, a lot of guys was like, look, bro, when you get in this and you start getting ahead, and like you in the hip hop world, but you call on this side too, you're gonna see there's a lot of similarities, bro.
A lot. Same race. It's the same race. It really is.
It's the same thing, bro.
And people ask me, well, hey man, why don't you ever get into hip hop? Why don't you take your music career more serious? I'm like, why would I jump out a line where I'm at here and then start at the bottom of the same game? Like, yeah, no.
Right. It's like they say, it's the same boat, different captain, man. You know what I mean? Like it's the same thing. One last question I want to ask you, man. What do you think is going on? Why do you think there's a lack of groups in hip hop? Why do you think the groups aren't as synonymous as they used to be? Last question.
Well, I think because I think the music industry profits are shrinking, and I think because of that, you can't have seven, eight members of a Wu-Tang clan if they're trying to divvy up a smaller piece of the pie. I also think that I mean, the only group, in my opinion, that mattered after Wu-Tang was Slaughterhouse. And if you can't have Slaughterhouse, which is the Voltron of hip hop, if they can't coexist, then maybe it's just the business model for hip hop isn't so much for groups anymore, because I was so excited for Slaughterhouse. And there's nothing, they, because if you look at the Migos, are there really three separate identities? Yeah, you can I think Quavo raps a little bit better than everybody else, right? But there's not really three separate identities. You know the difference between Big Boy and Andre. You know what I'm saying? You know the difference in EPMD. You know the difference in Wu-Tang. Everybody comes in with their different styles and they blend it. And maybe it just ain't because the bar ain't so high anymore. You don't have to. If we in a group and I know Teasy's coming with that fire, I got to step my game up. And maybe it's just not like that no more.
One quick point I want to add to this, because I ask all hip hop heads this question because groups are so needed. I think also too on the other side, I think a lot of people have their own agendas. I think a lot of people have their own agendas on what they want, and I think cohabitating I think cohabitating with another, let's say you just 2 or 3 of y'all in a group, cohabitating your creative thoughts with 2 or 3 other people all the time that might think different can become frustrating to people, because you can want the best for the group, but sometimes you can have different ideas. You can have different ideas. Let's say there's something that's in your heart you want to talk about, but 2 other people in the group don't want to talk about it. It becomes that's where the dynamic comes in. But also, I think that's why too. I think like the Locks is the perfect example of when we come together, this is what we're talking about. Yeah. But when we're separate, these are my ideas on what I want to talk about. Yeah. But the group comes first. But if I'm doing an album with this person, or if I have a solo project, these are the thoughts that I have in mind at the time. I think the constant, like nowadays, the constant cohabitation with other people, especially another grown man who might think different than you, because you hear with every group, the reason why there ends up being problems. It's like, okay, we have to agree on the same beat. We have to agree on the same subject. There's a lot of give and take. And now after a while, for some people, they get tired of giving. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that, if you can find the right people for the right situation, that's why it always works better. A lot of times I notice from hip hop groups, a lot of times when we hear from the greats, there's usually the guy who formulates the records, and then the other guy's like the real talented one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The talented guy can kind of just fit in wherever it is, and then the guy who organizes the music a lot of times is the thoughts. You know what I mean?
That's why the Wu-Tang worked so well, right? RZA was the brain. RZA put everything together, and RZA said, "Okay, and RZA was the ultimate coach. He knew who to use on what, what sounds and what styles would blend best on his albums." And it seemed like that was, with all those dudes, with all them street dudes, for them to be so cohesive as a unit for as long as they were. I mean, I think you'll never see anything like that again.
No, you won't, man. And even with their internal things and everybody going doing their solo things, I think Raekwon did an interview and he was talking about how he regrets that they split apart too early. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he kind of regrets that. He said they should have spent another couple years of just putting out albums with themselves, with the group, and then break apart once everybody was solidified. But when you have 9 individuals with 9 different minds and careers, and everybody's young and everybody's hungry, it can kind of cause some tension. But I do hope, in a nutshell, that groups come back, man. Not to take up too much of your time, man. I just want to thank you for coming on, man, and talking to your little bro about some music. And we don't really get a chance to all get our musical thoughts out. You know what I mean? We all are in a bubble. And, really get a chance to talk to the people about our thoughts on hip hop music. So, man, I would definitely love to bring you back on in a couple months, man, to talk about some other subjects. We'll break down next time some Little Brother's catalog, if you're down.
We can do that. I want to shout out to somebody asked me about the Hurt Business. I want to shout out to the Hurt Business. I want to shout out MVP Bobby Lashley, man. I'm so happy to see them dudes doing what they're doing. I'm so happy to see my man Swerve doing what he's doing. Shout out to Swerve Strickland. Everybody keeps asking me when I'm gonna join my boys, and I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm very happy where I'm at right now, but everything happens for a reason and when it's time. But shout out to the man, though.
And shout out to them boys. But we also too, though, I know you're in a bubble, man. But Swerve City's over here making music, and we gonna need a verse, bro. We gonna need something.
Okay, man. Well, shoot, I'm on it. I'm in the mode right now, so just point me in a direction, and I'm on it.
We got something for you, bro. I'm gonna holler at Swerve in a bit, and we gonna send something your way, bro, with a verse for you to slaughter, bro. It'll be coming your way soon, my guy.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, big bro. Happy birthday again tomorrow. This is Big Homie's birthday, Kenny King's birthday tomorrow. Make sure you send him the love, all the love for tomorrow, man. Thank you, big bro, and have a safe drive to your destination. Give the family my best, and I'll talk to you soon, man.
You got it, my man. Be safe out there.
Bless, King.
Peace.
Yeah, everybody. Thank you guys for joining this segment of Teasy's Table. That was Kenny King, Ring of Honor's own. One of the best in the world at what he does. And I thank you guys for tuning in, joining in. One thing I want to get the promos in. Make sure you guys go to youtube.com/Swerve City Podcast. Subscribe to the podcast. We have some great content coming for you soon. Shout out to all the X. Shout out to Ian. Shout out to Swerve. Shout out to, go to youtube.com/Message Monteasytv. There's going to be more content coming there on both channels. You know what I mean? This will be uploaded to my personal YouTube channel for youtube.com/Message Monteasytv for this episode of Teasy's Table. We chilling, man. I'm going to try to give you guys at least one or two of these a week. You know what I mean? And link up with people and holla at the world of the universe about everything that's going on. If you guys once again know who I am Teasy Scott, the maker of Sammy Guevara's music on AEW, Big Swole's music. Anything in the indies you hear hip hop and it's banging, naturally, my name is on it. And it's been a long journey, been putting in work, but make sure you guys stay good. Thank you, Ian, man. My hair grew quick, bro. My hair grew quick, man. I don't know what, just watering it, keeping it moisturized, man. And these things is locking up, man, quick. You know what I mean? These things are locking up quick. Like the front part, it's taking a bit to lock up for the resistance or the tension. But like everything else back, like head to the top, bro. You know what I'm saying, my blood brother? It's locking up, man. So, glad to join y'all on this journey, bro. And just stay hungry, bro. Staying hungry, staying working, man. Swerve City family. If you guys know who Ian Sonic Scott is, that is the brother of Isaiah Swerve Scott and myself. I believe, I don't know if I'm the oldest or whatever. It doesn't matter. But that is our blood brother. This man has been supporting us from day one. That is Swerve's childhood friend. And they invited me to the circle, to their brotherhood. And I'm glad to be one of the three-headed monsters over there. And we hop on PS4 all the time and just argue about whatever, hip hop, women, whatever. It's brotherhood over there. It's barbershop talk. Twitter.com/Swerve City Podcast. Make sure you guys follow that. Swerve City Pod, Twitter.com/Swerve City Pod. Make sure you guys follow the Patreon.com/Swerve City Podcast. Make sure you follow what I have going on at Twitter.com/Teasy Scott, at Teasy Scott. Make sure you guys follow Love You for Life too, bro. Love You for Life, man. Make sure you follow everything that I have going on as well. I have my motivational speaking dates will begin again so far January 2021. Hopefully with all this happening, I'll be back on my motivational speaking tours, schools, preferably 6th graders through 12th graders, and speak to them about life. GPS is coming soon. Erica's Son is coming soon. From Humble Beginnings is out now on all streaming platforms. Sammy Guevara's theme is on all streaming platforms. Big Swole's theme, AEW, is on all streaming platforms. The Lost Tapes is on all streaming platforms. So a lot of the theme songs I've made over the years, that's my tribute to Nas, Lost Tapes. I have Lost Tapes 3, 4, and 5 in the cut. I've recorded a lot of themes over 6 years. And it's just giving you guys, material, giving you guys great material for all the love that you guys have shown. Give you guys one quick thing about GPS and Erica's Son. Man, we are in a zone right now, man. I always say this, but I feel like this is the best music I have made in my life. Cohabitating with Swerve on these projects has been awesome. I am more than thrilled to continue to make these classic projects, and me and Swerve from Humble Beginnings, we're giving you that DMX. DMX gave you It Dark and Hell Is Hot and Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood in the same year. He gave you guys 2 classic projects in 1 year. Our plan is to give you that. Technically, it's 3 albums if you can include my solo, which is Erica's Son. So to give you guys a quick breakdown, the first 10 songs is going to be GPS. The second set 10 songs are going to be Erica's Son, and it's all going to be included on one project. So when you hear the first 10 songs, that's GPS. The next 10 songs is Erica's Son. It's not You know, these songs are not going to be like separate. It's not going to be like, oh, this is a Monteasy link and a Swerve City link. Nope. The cover and everything is going to be in unison. Is going to be Our Love Below Speaker Box. Technically, I've been in the game 16 years. And if you look at my whole catalog, everything has been Dat Piff and mixtape release. This is going to be my first solo album I technically release. I kind of went the Jay-Z route. I wanted to wait until I was in my late 20s, early 30s before I gave you like my first project, because I didn't want to give you it at 23, 24 when I was not in the state of mind and I wasn't growing at that time. So this is going to be my first actual project with my name on it that is considered some solo work that is going to be out on all markets. Everything else has been free. So this is going to be the first one for sale. So make sure you guys follow GPS. Make sure you guys follow the journey. Walker Visions was good. If you guys do your homework, Walker Visions has shot every single wrestling themed video I have ever made. He's been the guy to shoot it. He shot Roman Reigns' Heart of a Warrior. He shot John Cena Triumphant. He's shooting Self-Motivated with John Quasto. He has shot every single wrestling related video that I've ever made. He shot other stuff too that wasn't wrestling related for me, but everything wrestling, that is my go-to guy. We started this together in 2014, 15. He's been my main dude I've gone to for these 6 years. And he just shot the Orange Cassidy video. Make sure you guys, and sometimes I forget to promote that, but I have so much going on that I forget to promote everything. I've been extremely active and busy. The Orange Cassidy video right now just passed 16,000 views on Facebook. That is for an independent artist. That is really, really great. And in a month and a half time, that's really, really good. Just passed like 30,000 views on Twitter. So it went viral. And that is behind the mind of Walker Visions and myself. When we get cooking, we have a chemistry. These videos get knocked out. And so for the Monteasy brand, that is my guy. It's my go-to guy. And we're gonna keep the ball rolling, and make sure you guys follow him, follow Ian Scott, and on everything social media that they have pushing. If you guys are watching the chat right now, just go follow them and show them some love. Talented brother and MC, and a talented videographer and photographer. Make sure you show love. Book them for anything you need to book them for features with Ian, or with respect to Walker Visions for the visuals and photos. Last thing I want to say is, thank you guys for tuning in. That was Kenny King. Next, we might have Christy Jane. I have so many other people. I have Santana from AEW, who's going to be on here. Serpento from AEW. Man, I got so many people coming up on the pipelines that, it's a lot of people on these chats that I'm bringing in with my friends in this industry. We just 2 weeks ago, we had Big Pooh from Little Brother. We had him on. We weren't able to record that one. I really wish we did, but we'll have him back on. So thank you guys once again for tuning in. Once again, I am Teasy Scott, at Teasy Scott on Instagram, at Teasy Scott on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you follow everything that is going on within my world. GPS Erica's son is dropping this fall. We have music video after music video after music video coming. I've literally recorded so far 3 music videos for the album, and me and Walker Visions are going to be doing probably another 3 or 4 music videos, wrestling related music and regular music. So, and this is not counting GPS side. GPS, we're probably gonna have 3 music videos. So you're gonna see Teasy a lot. So there's gonna be a lot of me, and hopefully the quality is suited to your benefit. And I'm gonna wrap this up here. God bless. Take care of yourself during this quarantine. And character is something that you can't teach. It's something that is in you. And God bless you guys. Peace.